My name is Jim Schaefer. I'm with the academic Rip Rep, the academic book television program. What's that written on your face?
VacationEducationBooks.com. No, sorry, Vacation Education Books.
And that is a publisher?
Yep. It's the books my mom wrote.
And your name is?
Summer Johnson.
And she's got a booth here?
Yep.
And what kind of books did she write?
She wrote travel guides for families that love to learn.
And so you're sort of a walking advertisement for this.
Yep.
Get some information. So we are I am representing 826 Michigan, and we are opening a robot repair and supply store.
And this is in conduct with whom?
826 Michigan, we do writing workshop programs for students ages 6 through 18, and we do drop-in tutoring. And then over the summer, we'll have drop-in writing sessions.
And does Robot Lady have a name?
I am Zip Pepper. 001111000001.
Do you have a human name?
Zip Pepper.
Zip Pepper? Okay, thank you, Zip Pepper. Now we have the Ann Arbor District Library. Oh,
I'm the Ann Arbor District Library. Hi.
and you've got a booth here too.
Yes. I'm giving away these Ann Arbor Rights books that the library produced a few years ago. And it's got authors who lived in Ann Arbor or used to live in Ann Arbor. Some are nationally known, like Joan Bloss. And so we're giving those away and telling people about Cookie Roberts is going to be in town on Monday, and we're sponsoring that at the Michigan Theater.
That's a big event.
It's a big event. We're really excited about that.
How many people do you think are going to show up for that?
I would imagine they'll pack the theater, and I think it holds something like 1,500 people. So it's a big deal.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My name is Donna DeButz, and I'm the Community Relations Coordinator for the Ypsilanti District Library.
So you've got freebies here too, right?
We do. We have a pencil with our motto on it, which is Start Here, Go Anywhere. And I was going to put this out, but it's too windy. This is our bookmobile, our newest bookmobile that just came online this year. And it's got our Start Here, Go Anywhere motto on
I
it.
trust you actually have a vehicle.
Yes, this is not it. I didn't actually pack it in.
I've
or
seen
anything.
it. It does exist.
And it goes all around our community, as well as it goes to the Head Starts and the kindergartens in our community, so the kids get a story time and get an early introduction to reading and books in the library and all that kind of stuff. So.
Well, that's an important part of getting books to people.
Absolutely. The other really cool thing that's going on is, you can see this is Swan Lake. We're not actually doing Swan Lake at the library, but we have a Smithsonian exhibit of photographs of dancers, and one of the photographs is of a ballet troupe doing Swan Lake. So that's pretty cool. It's only here through June 1st, so if anybody wants to come out to our Whitaker Road facility, it's open anytime the library is open, and they can look at all these wonderful pictures and see all these wonderful quotes from the famous dancers of the past.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
We have the U of M library, right?
Yes, we're the University Library of the University of Michigan.
And what's your name?
My name is Barbara McAdam.
And you have a booth here too.
Yes, we do. We've got our health sciences libraries here, as well as we have a bookmark that tells people everything they can do as a member of the community in the university library. They're welcome to come in and use any one of our libraries, use all our books in-house. They can use any one of our licensed resources through any public workstation in the library, ask us a reference question, come to one of our many, many exhibits during the year, and you can even purchase borrowing privileges. We're actually raffling off a year's free borrowing privileges at the University Library today, as well as an umbrella and a mug, so they're hot items.
Everybody's handing out something here.
Everybody's handing out things. We have pens, we have bookmarks, we have Post-it notes, we have brochures on using PubMed and Medline, in other words, how to find really reliable health information.
It's a good thing for people to look at research as part of life, not someplace, some distant place.
That's exactly right. In fact, we have people that come from all over the country or the state and from the community that we help with their research all the time. They use the collections. We have everyone from grade school children to people who may be here over the Christmas break, who are here from another college, home. We have people who are writers in the area who use our collections. We have people, hobbyists who will come in. Our fine arts library often will have people come in and they've seen Antiques Roadshow and they're trying to price a painting or a quilt or something that they have found or an antique, and we love to see people come in and bring their children into the library as well.
Well, you've got the digitizing process going on, right?
We do. Google, as many people know, is digitizing all 8 million of books in our library, as well as many other university libraries, including a lot of libraries in the Big Ten. Now, many of those things are still in copyright, so they're searchable, but you can't see the full text. But many, many millions of volumes really will be available to read for anybody who has an on-ramp to the internet all over the world.
It's really pretty impressive. I mean, it's just staggering.
It is impressive, and we're increasingly finding that as people find things electronically on the web, they want to see the real thing. They will borrow things through interlibrary loan, they will purchase the book, they will want to come and see it in the library. They discover all sorts of things that generate their interest. So there's no evidence at all that the availability of books on the web is interfering with people's interest in seeing and using actual print books. And as a librarian, I hope that's always the case.
Well, I think it will be. There's a need for the book.
There's a need for the book. The culture of the book is something that's lasted for tens of thousands of years, and I have no doubt that it will be here for tens of thousands more, just like libraries.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Lovely day at the book festival.
So you're learning more about what you're about. Now your steps for success. When you decide you really want to get into this issue, this is your plan.
My guide dog back here, he's my retired guide dog. That's Kojak, the black dog. And he had to have back surgery when he was 4, and there wasn't really monies available to help service animals, so I was able to pay for it myself, the $7,000. And
$7,000?
for back surgery for a dog. But there are many people who need service dogs who are not gainfully employed due to discrimination or inability to work. And so I took a song. I always create a song for each of my guide dogs when we're walking because it keeps them interested, you know. So I took this song that I sang to Kojak and I wrote this book, and there he is on the back. And I created a story out of it, and there's the musical CD that goes with it. And it's about Iris and her guide dog, Seymour. And I don't know if you get the play on words, but...
Oh, wait a minute. Let's slow this down. Here's Iris.
And the black one is Kojak. Yeah,
Look at that.
so anyway, all of the money that I get from these products goes to the Iris Seymour Animal Health Fund, which is a nonprofit corporation I developed. And we've been able to help several service dogs and some rescue dogs. And then I also wrote Blind Man's Bluff, which is my autobiography about growing up losing my vision and coming to self-acceptance. And it has about, I lived in Ann Arbor for 20 years, and it's got a lot of Ann Arbor in it. And Flint, and a little bit of Sault Ste. Marie, which is where I live now.
You came all the way from Sault Ste. Marie for this?
We did. This is my second year at the book fair.
Why did you come back?
Because this is a great opportunity for networking and selling and meeting people. It's a great event. And my passion really is, though I would love to be rich and famous someday, my passion is to teach acceptance. And I will be doing a presentation today at 5 o'clock. And I work in the school system. I'm a special ed teacher and a school social worker. And I work with a lot of kids that feel really crummy about themselves because they're not quote unquote normal. So pretty much everything I do is around acceptance. And even Iris and Seymour, Iris is just a kid walking through a town with her guide dog. There's no big deal about the fact that she's different. She's just a kid going for a walk through the town. And so I really wanted to make her a character that the focus wasn't on the fact that she was blind. The focus is on the fact that she's a young girl with her dog, you know. So.
I don't know if we ever got your name.
My name is Jerry Takens.
Well, thank you, Jerry Takens.
And if you'd like to take a card. And I don't know if you're around at 5 today, but I'd love to have you see my presentation. I sing and play guitar, and I wrote songs on the one CD there, and I have another little CD there called Out of the Muck Grows a Lily and a Frog, and it's a story about a frog with thick lips, a right limp, and who says bit rib instead of ribbit. And that's,
But still normal.
huh?
But still normal.
Well, he isn't. He gets thrown out by his froggy friends because he's different and sounds weird, and he befriends a lily, and through the eating yucky stuff and having a friend, he gets big and strong, and then his old neighbors hear that his croak is really loud now, and they're kind of curious, so they come and check him out. And he's cool, you know, and some of them accept him, some of them don't, but he's okay with himself. So, and that's soon to be a book. The illustrator that did this book is working on the illustrations for that book.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Where's the mic? How tall is this thing?
The poster is 6 foot tall, and it's an exact replica of the book cover.
And you are?
My name is Arthur Baroud, and I'm the author. I'm also a 4th grade teacher, and I wrote this book for my students. I just saw that a lot of boys were having a hard time finding a book they really enjoyed reading. So by taking the antique automobile and giving them a theme to work with, the Mud Hole deals with boys in 1912 as the car is just becoming common, and the cars are getting stuck in the mud because there are no paved roads at that time. So they make a little side business of getting cars out of the mud and find lots of adventure as they're going about it.
Well, where do you teach?
I teach 4th grade in Sault Ste. Marie.
In Sault Ste. Marie.
Sault Ste. Marie, yes.
And the reason you came down for this?
Exposure for books. There's a lot more people down here.
That's right. Well, great. When did you write this book?
It took about 5 or 6 years to write, and I just had it published last October.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Wayne State University Press. Go Wayne.
Well, first of all, what's your name?
My name is Matt Becker.
And you're from the Wayne State
Wayne
University?
State University Press. I'm the Heidelberg Project book. Comes in different covers. We have a pink dot, a yellow dot, a blue dot.
How many dots is it in?
There's 4. And an orange dot.
That would be only appropriate for the Heidelberg Project.
So the Heidelberg Project, and we have one out on Mitch Ryder.
What's this trespass dirt stories?
That is about the
Janet Kaufman, I know
effects of corporate farming on. And it's sort of a mix between more critical essays and then more sort of memoir type essays.
She's quite involved with the ecology,
Yeah, right.
like runoff fertilizer
Right,
stuff.
and that's yeah.
I know her.
Sunny Says. This is a pretty popular book.
WWJ 950 AM.
It's a pretty.
If you can handle it.
James Lee.
You are
I'm Jim Schaefer.
Jim Schaefer from.
Well, we have a program on academic books called Rip Rat.
I'm sorry?
We have a program on academic books, television program called Rip Rat. Rip Rat. Yeah. And so we're in the book festival ourselves, but we do kind of a walk around.
No, that's great. I think
It's under fire one.
boy, you're asking me the wrong person.
Yeah.
Actually, Elizabeth Goodenow and Andrea Emmel. It's about childhood in the Civil War. No, it's a new
I'm asking
title.
all these questions.
It's one of the new titles, and certainly, actually, Liz Goodenow is. She's here. She was at a conference. She didn't stop by, but maybe she'll stop by later.
You got Detroit's Easter Market, I see.
Yeah, that's a perennial favorite. Certainly the Eastern Market is a part of the core identity of this region. Detroit.
Have you gone there?
Pardon me?
Have you gone to the Easter Market?
Oh, absolutely. I live in the suburbs, but
Have you gone there?
tomorrow's Flower Day.
That's right.
Tomorrow's Flower Day is a big, huge blossoming of that part of Detroit. And
They're actually shutting down the road construction because it's Flower Day.
And it's Detroit's happening, and Eastern Market's it's been there for a while, and people just in this region, and through this book, through our titles, that they
It's the book that made it famous, of course.
Absolutely. Wayne State, the biggest. I've only been working at Wayne State University Press for a year. I'm the IT guy, but really, what I think Wayne State University Press, what it brings is it informs people, lets other people know about the good things happening in this region. The history, the cultural connections that people can make. That otherwise, we here living in the suburbs, in Arbor. How often do people venture in, and people need to discover these things. And Wayne State University Press, through its titles and through its focus of regional titles, particularly Detroit, it's an important mission. I mean, we're all part of this region, and Detroit's a big part of it.
Well, that's what research can do, is give you more informed.
American City is a very popular title. That's the definitive coffee book title that
I'll be the Vanna.
Detroit architecture.
Yeah.
that highlights Detroit's architecture in
AIA.
a wonderful way. Mitch Ryder, Matt had kind of mentioned, icon of Detroit that's largely gone unrecognized.
What's this one you got?
Amos Walker is a series by Lauren Esselman, detective novels that take place in Detroit.
Oh, right.
And this is a combination between him and famous photographer Monty Nagler have combined to define or take it's pictures of scenes and combined with the text and from the Amos Walker series to kind of paint certain pictures and scenes from the detective novel in the books. It's great, and it's another way of looking at Detroit.
Okay.
And in a way that other writers and other people from other cities from around the world recognize about the city. That oftentimes we live, us living here out, in the regional, in the suburbs, we don't oftentimes see that. We have an opportunity to reimagine Detroit.
Well, thank you.
The Detroit Metropolis, or big book, Southie table book.
You interviewed him.
Yeah, Dunnigan. Yeah, his latest book is on Mackinac.
Yeah, well, we'll have to interview him on that.
Yeah.
The Library of Michigan. We are the state library, the legislature, and the capital.
And the Michigan Center for the Book hasn't been going that long, has it?
Oh no, I don't know how long it's been around, but it's been around for quite a while.
And you're sponsoring these two, or at least one author, and we got into the conversation here, which is what happens at the festival. So your sponsored author is?
Hi, I'm Mark Hoffman. I wrote a book called My Brave Mechanics, the Michigan Engineers in Their Civil War.
And how did you get into that topic?
I've always been interested in the Civil War, and in particular units that were there at key places and made a difference. And there were several times where engineers and special troops like that made a difference far in excess of what their numbers would suggest.
Supplies are pretty important, aren't they?
You got to eat and you got to have bullets to shoot.
I think they found that out even in Iraq.
Yeah, the supply train is always a real important part of any successful military action.
But you're talking about the Michigan Engineer.
Yeah, it was a group from Michigan that was raised specifically during the Civil War to help support the supply lines, to help move troops across mountains and across rivers and do other engineering tasks.
So this is a new book?
Yeah, just came out last year from Wayne State University Press.
And it looks like you got an award on it?
Yeah, the Notable Books Michigan included in theirs, and the Historical Society of Michigan also gave it an award. I'm very grateful to both.
And are you teaching?
No, actually I work for the Michigan Department of History, Arts, and Libraries.
Well, all right. And then we have your other converser here.
Hi, Jim. I'm Tom Nanzig. I'm the president of the Ann Arbor Civil War Roundtable, and the reason that I came by today specifically was to meet Mark in person, because we'll be sponsoring him to come down to talk on the subject of his book next October at our Civil War Roundtable meeting. We meet over at St. Joseph Mercy Hospital once a month, and we have authors and speakers on different Civil War topics. And then I also am an author on Civil War topics, only mine generally are in Virginia. I'm working on letters between a Virginia cavalryman and his wife, editing those right now. And I've just had a book come out about a year ago on the memoirs of a Virginia cavalryman who fought under Jeb Stuart and Robert E. Lee. And so we were comparing notes just now. Mark and I have gone through some of the same, jumped through the same hoops, I guess you'd say.
So what did you learn from going through these letters?
Oh, it's amazing on the one hand how far away we are from 1861 to 1865. For instance, the husband and wife letters that I'm editing right now, her letters almost always open or have some significant mention of disease, illness, or death. That people just made it, from day to day, year to year, and it wasn't odd at all for children to die of measles or smallpox or some of the other diseases at the time. And that was important for the family members to know how people were doing, how they were living. On the other hand, it's surprising how modern they can be. I edited some letters of a Wisconsin soldier about 6 years ago, and he said, "I'm looking out for number one." And I didn't think that that phrase had been around as far back as the Civil War. So some of the terminology and the language and the attitudes are pretty much the same as they would be today in Iraq, or they were perhaps in Europe or the Pacific in World War II.
Well, thank you, both, and you.
Thank you. Sure, thank you.
And we didn't get your name.
My name? I'm Kimberly Dowd.
Okay, well, thank you all.
Thanks. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Thing you're doing.
Put affect them in their life. Oh. And I said, you've got to be kidding. Because once you put it into the larger context, there's all kinds of research.
This guy wants me to have him talk, say something, so I said, film it while we're here.
You're a smart guy.
Hey, we got to get the props. To tell the truth, this book was a Michigan Notable Book last year, not in 2008. It was in 2007.
Oh, we won't quibble about it.
Okay. Well, it's not. I was very pleased.
It was a lot of fun, though.
It was a lot of fun, and I was really pleased it got that recognition. It was great.
And you've really come along. Since the days of Shaman Drum.
I don't know. Maybe I have more time now to squander in public. Maybe that's what's going on. You've been doing well too. You've been keeping this up, and that's fabulous.
11 years.
It's fabulous. 11 years. It's incredible. And you're in better shape now than when you started.
Right.
I wish I could say the same.
Well, listen, thanks. How did this book evolve?
Well, this is mostly a collection of poems. So, like most collections of poems, it evolved over a certain amount of time, and then got to the point where they had their own. For me, anyway, a group of poems gets their own sort of constellation, and this group came together.
Now, one time I talked to Ted Kuzer. And he said that he revises poems 60 to 70 times.
I think there are certainly poems of mine I've revised 60 to 70 times.
I think that's true.
There are poems in this book. So this book was first published in 2006, but there are poems in there that I know I drafted first drafts of in 1978. So that's almost 30 years. And I'm still a young man.
That's right. Not a day over 19 or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
No, that's something with my students in college classes in writing. I keep telling them it's the revision.
Absolutely.
And the more you know, I use Ted Kuzer as an example, and now I could use an example.
It's particularly
because
with poems.
it's letting it live.
Yeah,
it's letting it come up and breathe and do what it's got to do.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether you think it ought to do something else.
Exactly. It's why most poets, even poets we think of as prolific, with a long writing life, somebody like Yeats, who's considered a prolific poet, but his collected poems is that big. You have prolific novelists who have 25 books that big. So, poets are always going back and doing that. And Yeats is another example. In his 70s, he was revising poems that he first wrote in his 20s.
Well, I remember hearing Donald Hall talk about the same thing. He had his compost pile.
Exactly.
Bring something out, work on it for a while, and
exactly. Put it back. He's another one. Who does that all the time, which is incredible. Yeah.
Well, listen, I know you've got to go on.
Well, this is the Library of Michigan thing, so we do it. But yeah, it's good to see you, man. Good luck with this.